So the other thing that you're doing today is analyzing this poem, and it shows up in chapter 5, and Ponyboy recites it. It's a Robert Frost poem, and here's how it goes. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf. So Eden sank to grief, so dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay. So the first time we read it afterwards, we just look at like the structure of it. So you'll want to determine if there's rhyme, if there's kind of a beat to it. So are there, like if you kind of tap along to it, can you sense a sort of rhythm? And if either of these is yes, it cannot be free verse. If both of these are no, it has to be free verse. Looking at point of view, so the best hint that I can give you here is that it says her right here. There we go. So what do we know about the use of the pronoun her, his, her, their? Which point of view is that? And then how can you tell? You can use the fact that it uses the word her. You're going to define these words trying to use them in context, especially for the word subsides. If we look at the dictionary here, it says become less intense, violent, or severe, to go down to a lower or the normal level, or to lapse into silence or inactivity. It's hard to determine which one of these has to do with leaves. I would probably say it's a combination of the first two, even though the second one says of water. I can see how this one would have to do with that as well. Let's use the first definition, though, to become less intense, violent, or severe. And you can use that. Oh, that's very big. You can use that as your definition for the word subsides. And then the other one that I want to point out to you is this word Eden. And it's actually an allusion. So if you go to Sunday school or a Christian church, you might be familiar with the Garden of Eden. A lot of religions or cultures have a story very similar to this, where humanity started out in a perfect garden, and usually there's a tree involved, and they get kicked out because they've committed some sort of a sin. So Eden is this perfect place that fell apart after Adam and Eve ate from the tree that they were forbidden to eat from. So you can see here it's perfect, here they eat from it, here they're banished, and here they are leaving and the angels kicking them out. So Eden is an allusion to the Garden of Eden, which was a perfect place before sin. So that'll come in as you figure out what the theme is of this, that ties in. So this is kind of like an illusion within an illusion, because Ponyboy's referencing the poem, and the poem references a story. So it's kind of neat. The only other words that kids sometimes struggle with is the word dawn. And just be aware that dawn is morning. So it's like sunrise. Sometimes kids mix up dawn and dusk. And then for homework tonight, my classes are working on reading number 3. So they had a little bit of time at the end of class to answer these questions. But remember that these are like the literal questions. So you shouldn't be thinking about theme here. You shouldn't be thinking about the deeper meaning. We're literally talking about like nature and leaves and the color green, like very basic, like don't think too deep on these questions. Like here, what are some things in nature that are literally gold when they're just new or beginning? So like, what are some yellow things that are gold at the beginning? You're going to try all of them, even if you aren't sure. And I will upload a video tomorrow of some of our answers. So we'll go over these, but you don't need to try to tackle reading number 4 yet, because I want to make sure that everybody has the correct understanding on reading number 3 before you try to figure out what it means. If you have any questions on this one, shoot me an email. You do not have to turn this in today. It's not due until tomorrow, but you should have readings 1, 2, and 3 done by the end of today.